Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala amma ba'd. Fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. قال تبارك وتعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي آمين يا رب العالمين. The topic for today's khutbah is fiqh of getting COVID-19 vaccine, or Islamic ruling of getting COVID-19 vaccine. I was preparing something else. I actually submitted something else as a topic, but then last week, as we got vaccination first with Pfizer and then the Moderna's vaccine, so there was a concern, and I thought most of the global fiqh councils have addressed that, and that would be sufficient for the global Muslim community, their answers. But then I started getting questions locally from our community that we are being offered this vaccination in our workplace. Should we get it? Should we not get it? So I realized that actually I have to address this. Just want to address this with two disclaimers. One, I usually don't speak about fiqh issues in the khutbah. I'm pretty sure some of you have already noticed that, because it's not to undermine fiqh, because I love learning about fiqh, I love studying fiqh, and I love teaching fiqh also. But I personally believe that Jummah audience is not meant for high academic fiqh lessons. We can teach them just basic Quran, Sunnah, few hadith here about akhlaq and muamalat, and that will be sufficient for Jummah audience. For fiqh lessons, you need academic classes, especially for high-level ijtihad or for fiqh classes, for fiqh lessons. But this will be an exemption. So please pardon me. I'm seeking apology before I can start that I'll be using some academic concepts. So inshallah, please pardon me for that. And second disclaimer is that I will be only speaking on behalf of Islamic ruling perspective, Islamic perspective. I won't be giving any medical fatwa because I'm not a medical doctor. And we have to understand this. One of our problems of our time is that if you will ask a person who have a degree in Islamic Sharia, why don't you speak about this medicine? No, he's not eligible to speak on behalf of medicine unless you are qualified in that. And similarly, medical doctors cannot speak on Islamic law unless they are qualified and trained on that. So we have to understand and we have to respect each and everyone's limitation. And also, it's a personal decision whether you want to get vaccine or not. Consult your medical doctor, primary care physician. But the reason why I'm speaking about this topic to you is so that we cannot drag Islam into our conversation, because this issue is actually political and along with being medical. So I don't want you to have a dual understanding of what Islam is saying. Islam is very clear in terms of harms, in terms of benefit, and that's what we're going to cover, so that we cannot drag Islam into our conversation when we are drinking chai and coffee and casually talking about Islam. Okay, let's start. What is the Islamic ruling or fiqh of getting COVID-19 vaccine? The fatwa which I gathered was from AMJA, one of the largest Muslim American fatwa body, American Muslim Jurist Association. Then I gathered from Darul Qasim, then British Islamic Medical Association, then individuals like Sheikh Dr. Mateen Khan, who is a doctor and a sheikh, then Sheikh Dr. Hatim Al-Hajj, who is a sheikh and a doctor, and I even checked Islamic Portal UK and other resources before making or preparing for this khutbah. Before addressing Islamic ruling, what is it? Is it halal to take vaccine for COVID-19? Is it wajib? Is it makruh? Is it mustahab? Is it mubah? Before addressing that, I just want you to understand few basic principles in terms of qawaid and in terms of maqasid that will help you to make decision in your normal life. First thing I want you to remember that hifz al-arwah min ahammi maqasid al-sharia. The protection and preservation of human life is one of the higher objectives of Islamic law. So we will do all those things possible to protect and to prevent and to preserve human life. And that is why you are even actually being asked that you can sometime drink alcohol to save your life. You can eat pork. Generally it's haram, but you can eat pork to save your life if you are in that situation, because it will going to protect your life. Second principle which we know اليسير معفو عنه وقد نهينا عن التكلف. Second principle is that trivial things are excused. Trivial things are excused, and we have been forbidden from being overly technical. If there is a large benefit and if there is small discussion, focus on the large benefit, which will benefit the community. Third thing which we need to understand is Allahu yuridu bi'ibadihi al-yusr. Inna ad-dina yusr. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants easiness, ease for all of us. He does not want difficulty for us. And He loves that His servants like us avail ourselves of His concession, of His rukhas. Then one of the other principles which you have to understand before we can basically understand the Islamic principle, that tadawi bil muharramat. We have to understand it. At tadawi bil muharramat, ghayr al khamr, jaiz in the Jamhur al ulama. Using alcoholic beverage, even for medical needs, it's prohibited unless there is a genuine durura to save your life, but generally it's prohibited. But using other forbidden substance apart from alcoholic beverage, one big group of scholars say it's permissible in medical needs. And then the final statement which we need to understand comes from Imam Mardawi rahimahullah before we can start. That مبنى الأمور في باب التداوي وغيره على غلبة الظنون فلا سبيل إلى اليقين في أكثر أحكام ولا حرج على الأطباء والباحثين في بناء أحكامهم على الظن الغالب. قال المرضاوي حيث قبلنا قول الطبيب فإنه يكفي فيه غلبة الظن على صحيح من المذهب الحنابلة. He said that the basis of judgment in the matters of medicine is probability, not certainty. Every vaccine will not give you 100% result. So he is saying that the basis of judgment in the matters of medicine is probability, not certainty, which is unattainable in most of the cases. There is no blame on physicians, doctors, and researchers when they base their judgment on a greater likelihood. غلبة الظن. Okay. So in general, basically what these maxims and qawaid and maqasid means, when conflicting benefits and harms are intermixed, what is wanted at that time is to procure the greater good of the community and human being. And even if there is a small side effect, but there's a bigger benefit, they should be overlooked if the medicines benefit outweigh the harms. This is the introduction. Just remember this as an introduction. Now coming to the particular issue of COVID-19 vaccine. It is already known that this pandemic have impacted directly almost 70 million people. And I'm talking about direct impact. For financial, economical, psychological, emotional, indirect impact, I don't know about that. But these are the numbers from direct impact, more than 70 million people, just in few months. And then within them, 1.5 million people have passed away. 1.5 million deaths, more than them actually, are being reported. So it's already very threatening. It's a global issue, what we are discussing right now. There are few ways to solve this. One is to just allow the infection to grow and circulate so that everyone will develop immunity. And then eventually we might not get it again. But this is not compatible with the Sharia and Islamic law. The reason why it's not compatible with the Islamic law and Sharia, because it have harm. You are actually putting others' life into danger. Those who are old age, those who have immunocompromised health. If you will assume that, okay, let's have everyone have it COVID and then eventually everyone will develop immunity, maybe those people won't be there to develop immunity. So there is a harm, and we know the clear hadith, la darara wa la dirara fil Islam. There is no harm in Islam, ad-dararu yuzal. Everyone agree on this. The second possibility, which is actually compatible with the Sharia, compatible with the Islamic law and reasoning, is by vaccinating people against the virus. And from Islamic law standpoint, again, I'm not talking about medical science because I'm not qualified for that. From Islamic law standpoint, it is absolutely fine and permissible to take medicine to prevent a disease, as long as the contents are halal by majority. Is it clear? Actually, some scholars moved to the level of it's not only permissible, it's recommended, mustahab. You'll get reward if you'll take medicine to prevent from a disease. And some scholars actually took it to the level of wujub. If that disease creates harm, hardship, not only for you, but even for others, like in contagious disease like COVID, then they would take it to the level of wujub, obligatory, you have to take it. وقد ذهب جمهور العلماء الحنفية والشافعية إلى أن التداوي مباح وقد ذهب الشافعية وبعض الحنابلة إلى استحباب. Okay. Now when some Muslim doctors and councils, Islamic fatwa councils, saw these vaccines, they found out, especially two vaccines which are approved from FDA. First was Pfizer, and then yesterday it was approved, the Moderna's one also. All of the ingredients are halal and no animal product is used, because if there is an animal product in the vaccine is used, then that discussion of fiqh will come, oh, if it's impure, it's pure, it's halal. When they check the ingredients, one of the scholars from UK, Maulana Shabir, Yusuf Shabir, he actually emailed Pfizer and they emailed him back. They said, one of the ingredient you have is cholesterol. And cholesterol might have a concern that it might have an animal fat. Can you clarify? And he said it's not an animal fat, it's a plant-derived source, plant-derived source or synthetic. So basically there is no reason for us as a Muslim, whether a student or a scholar who knows the fiqh, to say it is not permissible to use. There is no reason for that. Because from the Sharia standpoint, there is no evidence. We cannot base our judgment based on the waham, paranoia or shak. It have to be yaqeen or ghalabat al-zann. And as for the suggested risk of the vaccine or side effects of the vaccine, instead of checking on your WhatsApp messages and Facebook post, go to a medical doctor and talk to him and say, astaghfirullah, if you are doing this on WhatsApp and spreading false information and rumor, because you are harming more than benefiting the community. Go and talk to your primary care physician if you're really concerned about the side effects of the vaccine. But remember this, if there are bigger benefits and there is smaller discussion, then as a Muslim, you should focus on the bigger benefits. And again, the approval of such vaccines is not a decision done by one individual or one doctor, no. In every country, they have a system. We have Food and Drug Administration, FDA, who have a thorough process of risk and benefit ratio, which is very compatible with the Islamic law, just FYI. And then eventually they will going to approve any medicine or any vaccine. So after discussing all of this, from the ingredient standpoint, from Islamic law standpoint, from the usul standpoint, we can clearly see, and I will just repeat what these councils and fatwa have said, that there is no reason to say from Islamic law standpoint that taking vaccine is either makruh or haram. There is no reason for that. If a person is saying, ask him for the evidence. Rather, we can say it's absolutely permissible. It's an individual decision whether you want to take it or not. Consult your primary care physician. In some cases, it's recommended. And then it might reach to the level of wujub. If it, for saving life in the like of COVID cases, extreme cases. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect all of us. Ameen ya Rab. Please also note, again, I'm saying this every now and then, please note that this answer is regarding an Islamic perspective. The decision to use vaccine is a personal decision, and you have to go to your primary care physician and he or she can guide you, inshallah ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us not only from COVID, but from all the spiritual and physical disease. Ameen ya Rab. Please make dua. Allahumma ansur al-Islam wal-Muslimin. Allahumma aghzul man khazala dina Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa la taj'alna ma'hum. Allahumma la tada'a lana dhanban illa ghafarta, wa la hamman illa farrajta, wa la daynan illa qadayta, ولا حاجة من حوائج الدنيا والآخرة إلا قضيتها يا أرحم الراحمين ولا مريضا إلا شفيت ولا ميتا إلا رحمت ولا ضالا إلا هديت يا أرحم الراحمين. الله أكبر.